the price of PX, PulseChian, maybe EX, and some other things. Now, this little tool, with the help primarily due to exist because of AI, is. Can't believe my dog's barking right now. That's crazy. So then 0.002766, 0.5097. Okay, so we built basically what we built. I built in AI built this particular calculator. And what you can do is put in, I don't know what you call it, calculator simulator. You can say, well, what if the price hits XYZ? So let's break down and put some prices in here. So say we have target price, hits it at PX or Pulse, whatever your choice may be. Say you say 1 cent, 1 penny. Price should be then 0.003461 according to current calculations. And also, pretty sure this is the Pulse X and pools, not all of them. So there could be a little bit of a difference. Now the next thing is, if only I had a starting point to remember what I'd actually do. That's the whole point of this particular website. I use this more than anything else. Now, for some reason, the dog was barking. It's hilarious. I'll just wait. I think he wants here. What is it, buddy? What's here? What's here? Shh. Shh. No, it's all good. It's all good. Now, this one. So this is the new one. The new, brand new, although it's hosted on GoDaddy, so that's pretty low. PX and Pulse LP. I call it the simulator because there's others out there who already dive deep into the LP, but I like to use tools. I like to visually see what is going on as opposed to theoretically understanding through mathematics. Now, we can see this here, that if we add the tool, then we can start to paint a picture. Now, the initial derivative, the initial tool that was built didn't quite. I still loaded it on this page, but it didn't quite work because all it did was go back to, it's like, how can the amount of LP that you provide, how can you get that back to a perfect ratio that you started with? So this one goes on and it goes further and says, well, if the price increases, because the other tool was decreasing back to the lowest point. I will show you out of, you know what I'm talking about. So I tried to build this here. AI then built it based on what I told it, and this was the result. So it had here entry price, exit price, and it had things like a slider as well. You could move the price, but also it would say the reverse solver and also the break-even calculator. So at this point in this screen, it was basically showing if all the prices revert back to what they were, then your LP tokens would be the exact same. That's not exactly what I was looking for. So then that's how this one came to exist, the LP simulator, which I like this one a little bit better. Now let's have a look at a fictitious position that we can follow along with. And we can then see what it might do. And then the interesting thing is you could start at your initial position, but if we just use live prices entry, so this would be a current holding example, and it would be worth roughly, where is it? PX and LP now, PLS and LP now, total value, so current ratio. Now, this is what I like the idea of doing, seeing it play out in your, like, right in front of you. Basically, you've got a price target, and say, for instance, it's going to 1 cent. You can drop and drag. I'm not sure if you can actually. Oh, you can. Oh, no, you can't manually. Nope. Okay, so we go. Right, let me go 369. we just do try to do a penny. We do just over a penny, right? And if we were to do that, we go back to the calculator here, and we say 1, and then the price would maybe again, it's hard to say, 0.000347. So we could put that here. Interesting, 3470, close enough. And we can see the price would move up pretty closely. So that's kind of interesting to take note of. But what would happen with the actual tokens that we are holding? Now, if we're holding, let's have a look. The PX, Pulse, price entry, current prices, say what's going up here. Now let's have a look. So it might, if that was to hold true, basically the LP positions you have currently would be worth a bit more than its initial amount. But also because they moved up sort of in a similar fashion, the LP tokens that you're holding, interestingly enough, would also do that. Now, let's do the classic example of what happens if, where are we at? Use current prices, and we've got 0002, and that's the starting point. It's like this is a visual representation. I'm so used to Pulse having more zeros that it's getting more interesting to watch. Now we got 9502. Oh, sorry, no hex. That's what we're looking at. I'm so used to hex having more zeros. Now we got 2734. Look at that. Boom. Right over. Close enough. And let's play out what happens when you do LP. Now LP goes like this. Say the price of hex starts to run, does the 3x. I'm not sure how that happened because we have got the calculator, but you'd see here that you would have the impermanent loss because you'd have a lot less hex and a lot more pulse, you know. And if you were just holding, you might have missed out on about that much. But the fact is, it's not too bad when the prices are moving up so hard. If it starts to go even harder, the 1 cent range and above, again, you miss out on a little bit, and your holdings will be a little bit more skewed. But keeping in mind the way it's currently going, it looks like it's going to hold, and it might sort of, it might not be too bad. So the interesting thing is, if you were taking profits and you can track how much you would potentially lost, but that's, I don't know, depending on how you want to take profits, if you want to provide LP, I might build that next. The next thing I can think of is I really want to have a look at the actuator finance stuff and build a tool like this to basically find all the arbitrage opportunities if there is any. I need to get out and look at it, but I think I saw a stream and someone's doing something that upgrading their front end, so maybe all the details is there, but you have to actually understand and know what you're doing. Because if you don't know what you're doing, then you might not be able to make any profit, I guess, or arbitrage opportunities. Because in a bond market, basically, you want it to be efficient, and you kind of don't want there to be any arbitrage or just operating completely efficient, because that's the whole point of everything. It'll like self-balance, kind of like we see here with the LP to the AMM. So it'd be like an AMM on the bond market, which would mean everything becomes really efficient, and then the APRs provided would be like the main incentive as opposed to any arbitrage. So that's when I have a look at that. What else? That's about it, people. I think we're doing really well in terms of price performance. Mind you, we're only down, where are we? Down, we're still down versus all-time highs. But if it does keep going, like 2 cents, what is 3 cents? Let's have a look at 3 cents. Or is 3 cents not the all-time high on PulseChian? So it's like a 10x from where we are currently. you'd be looking at pulse with about 3 zeros and a 1, 2 cents on hex, and you'd be looking at an LP position of roughly starting LP position of maybe $1,000 to go to like 23, and sorry, about 2.2. And if it holds its sort of ratios, then you wouldn't be subject to too much impermanent loss, which is quite surprising. Because quite often you see, you know, especially against a stable, for example, one would go up like this. Oh my god, let me show you the tab. That's hilarious. So yeah, what I was talking about was this here. Basically, previously, if this one was a stable, you'd see this one go all the way up here, boom, and then you'd sort of suffer more impermanent loss. Not completely though, because the holdings would still have some, which is a surprise. And that was pretty much it. That was the string. So hopefully someone out there finds this tool somewhat useful, because like I said, I'm liking it. Maybe cross-reference that with this one here. We can do an LP position tracker. You could use that. We could also use this here. This is the one I was locked onto before when I was talking about other stuff. Basically, like the what if. We've got the current price, we've got the ratio, we've got the movement, we've got like pulse looks cheap relative to PX right now. Again, that's not financial advice, it's just based on the data we're looking at. And then PLSX pools, PulseChian mainnet, data deck screener. So if you're not using that, it may not be relevant. But yeah, so we've got target prices as well. Same thing, the target price is 2 cents. Then you have pulse implied price as well, and vice versa. And if it does hold true, then you go back here, look, 2 cents. Close enough. Oh, sorry, 2 cents. That's like up here, and then you have that there. So we'll see how this plays out. It's going to be very interesting to watch. I would like to see it get way beyond this particular bar. Once it does, that would be very nice. All right, that's about it, people. Free speech signing out. Yeah.